This is one parameter by which Prime Minister Narendra Modi wants the success of his government to be judged by: the ease of doing business in India. World Bank's latest ranking of countries is out. It ranks India 130 out of 189 countries. Well, on the face of it, not a very pretty statistic. But the good news is that India has finally moved up the ranks, and by a significant 12 places compared to last year's ranking. Hello and welcome to this very special show. I'm Shweta Rajpal Kohli, and on the show today we're asking, can India be in the top 50 in the World Bank's ease of doing business rankings in the next 2 years? Joining me on the show, two very, very important men: Onno Ruhl, Country Director, World Bank India, and Amitabh Kant, Secretary DIPP, and clearly the one man who's spearheading all the important initiatives of the government in ease of doing business. Thank you both for being with us here on the show. Let's start with the good news first. After many, many years, we're seeing India finally moving up the ranks. How significant is it that India has actually gone up 12 places if we compare it to last year's ranking?
I think it's very significant. India has actually been gradually sliding back little by little over all the years that we've been doing business ranking based on the 10 criteria that we're currently using. So it's been this movement. Now we're going up. As an economist, I know that reversing a trend is the most difficult thing to do.
Right.
But when you've done it, you've started a new trend.
You've started a new trend, Mr. Kant, and perhaps you, along with many others in the government, deserve credit for it, because in many ways this is a target that has been set by the Prime Minister. You know, when he makes an announcement that India will actually be among the top 50, many would say it's too ambitious. But are we on the road to actually being among the top 50 in the rank when it comes to ease of doing business?
Actually, the Prime Minister said that India must become one of the easiest and the simplest places to do business in. We've all worked as a team. We've jumped about 12 positions today. To my mind, a lot of things that have been done have not been recognized by the World Bank, simply because usage has to take place.
Right.
And they're right on that, but I think usage takes a little time.
And also the cutoff was June. And
the cutoff was May 31st.
Right.
Secondly, I think a huge number of things have happened between May 31st and now, and a number of people have increased their usage. Secondly, I think a lot of major structural changes in terms of getting the National Company Law Tribunal, getting the commercial courts passed, finalizing the Vishwanathan Committee report for easy entry and exit. So major structural changes which will make you jump by large numbers, that have all happened now, and I think we need to operationalize them quickly. So I think we are bang on track, and I'm quite sure that next year India's challenge is to move beyond the 100 position.
Okay.
And I think in the next 2 years really to crack it to 50. And to my mind, since everybody is working as a team, it's being driven right from the top, there's political and administrative will, it's a highly, highly doable thing.
Okay, so you've also actually put very, very ambitious numbers there. India is currently at 130, and you're saying that by next year India can easily jump 30 spots, 30 places to make it in the top 100.
Yeah.
And you're talking about another jump of 50 places the year after and making it to the top 50.
Yeah.
Would that be too ambitious, Onno Ruhl?
I don't like the sound of too ambitious.
Okay.
It's ambitious, for sure.
Right.
Other countries have made jumps like this before. Cases we use when working are Rwanda, a very small country, very different than India, but moved from 158 to 32. It's one of the most spectacular things ever, over a time of 4 years. Russia, India's BRICS peer, moved from somewhere in the 130s to 51 over a period of 5 years.
So it's not entirely impossible.
It's not impossible, and what is important is that those two countries, the first year of that effort, Russia jumped by only 3, you can't really call it jump, and Rwanda by 8. So definitely India has made a good start.
Okay, India's made a good start, and in fact, let's take our viewers through what exactly has led India to move up even those 12 points. And according to the World Bank report, it's just 2 reforms that have done it. And as Mr. Kant was saying, that many other reforms still need to take effect. So what are those 2 points that have actually helped India move up? Well, first, of course, is starting business, making it easier for a firm to start a business. Second is as simple as getting a power connection, getting an electricity connection. Let's in fact go into detail about starting a business and compare the number of days it used to take earlier. So as per the World Bank report in 2004, it used to take 127 days to start a business. Now it takes only 29 days. So that's a giant leap that has been made. We of course still have miles to go, because if you look at the country that ranks number 1, which is Singapore, in Singapore it takes all of 2.5 days to start a business. Mr. Kant, can we ever get there? 2.5 days and you've got a business ready?
No, I think it's very doable. If you can get a Google connection in about 1 minute, it's an algorithm at the back of it. So you need to put all of it online. You need to just get technology right. It's very, very doable. Forget 2.5 days. To my mind, India must beat Singapore at that. It's possible to start a business actually, in reality, in 1 day. And India must have the ambition to go for it.
And you're saying that the government is working towards ensuring that right now it takes 29 days to start a business, but soon we'll be able to do it in a day.
You know, it's been a big jump. It's been a big jump from the number of days to 29 days. And I think we must have the ambition. I mean, we are a nation of young startups. We have a lot of young people who want to do business, and we must ensure that all compliances are made available to them in just 1 or 2 days at the maximum. It's very, very doable to my mind.
You mentioned startups, and it's important that you mentioned that fact, because the government, particularly after the mega Make in India campaign, is now focusing on Startup India. We expect a number of announcements to come through. How significant will that be? Because at the end of the day, a lot of the new businesses are really these startups, the young entrepreneurs going ahead, most of them under 30 in fact, going ahead and starting up their businesses. Do you think it will be a lot easier for them to set up their businesses, to start an online venture or even an offline one?
So Startup India and Stand Up India, which the Prime Minister announced, to my mind is the most important of the various initiatives which the government has taken. If India needs to create jobs, if India needs to grow at 9 to 10% over a long period, we need to allow these young entrepreneurs all to have easy compliances. We need to create the right ecosystem for them, and we are all working towards this, and we are determined to crack this one.
Okay, determined to crack it, but Onno Ruhl, at the cost of sounding critical, I have to pull up one graphic that actually tells us how India fares among other BRICS peers. So while India has gone up 12 places, which in fact is a significant improvement, especially if we look at some of the other countries, but look at Russia, that's at 51, South Africa is at 73, China 84, Brazil at 116. India is still 130. In many ways, there is skepticism that one could have done even better. 130 out of 189 doesn't look all that good on paper even right now.
Well, you know, India progressed the most amongst its BRICS peers. And since May 31st, there's 5 areas where the government has already taken action that we know will count next year, and many more where Secretary Kant and his team are working. So I think we'll have a discussion next year and see India no doubt beat one of its BRICS peers. I'm very optimistic about that. But become middle of the pack and then go beyond that, that is absolutely possible, because these are reforms, as the Secretary says, that allow people to start businesses and create jobs. These are not reforms that hurt anybody. These are the kind of reforms that make life and doing business and creating jobs and creating prosperity for Indian people easy. It's a wonderful thing.
Mr. Kant, I'd like you to explain to our viewers why the government and why the Prime Minister is focusing so much on this area. You know, the overall business climate, ease of doing business, at the end of the day, it's just one ranking. Why is it so significant, and why is it that everyone should be focusing, and literally the energies of the government are being driven towards ensuring that we are doing a lot more?
You know, we must understand first and foremost that India must grow rapidly at 9 to 10%. India had made itself a very, very complex, very complicated, a very difficult place to do business. India must become one of the easiest and simplest places to do business. This requires a lot of dismantling of rules, regulation, procedures, acts which have been built over the last 65 years. In fact, ever since the ease of doing business studies started by the World Bank, India kept sliding year after year, year after year. This is the first year India has reversed the trend. Not merely reversed the trend, it's jumped 12 positions.
Right.
And once you reverse the trend, there's no stopping it.
Right.
And therefore, I'm quite sure that India will crack this one again. Next year, we'll move forward. And India must make itself over a to my mind, over 3 to 4 to 5 year period, India must be absolutely clear that it'll make itself the easiest and the simplest place to do business in, and that there is political. This is the first time I'm seeing huge amount of political will right from the PM downwards, political and administrative will for India to move forward.